So, we just watched Scooby-Doo Adventures, The Mystery Map. For one of the direct-to-DVD movies, it honestly wasn't that good.
No,
It had a very unique art style, being done mostly through puppetry. However, the puppets themselves were very odd-looking.
and there's no reason for it to be puppetry either.
Yeah,
There's
they don't...
nothing gained from doing it with puppetry.
Yeah, they don't really do much... Like, it's an interesting premise, but they don't do anything with it. They're
It's
just
literally
puppets.
just the Scooby-Doo formula,
but
but
puppet.
puppets. And it makes there's no reason to do it. It's just because they're like, well, this hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
And they do it. But there's nothing unique about it.
Of note, like, the close-ups look really weird.
Yeah.
For some reason, Scooby-Doo is just Titanic and the size of a human, and it's very creepy in certain scenes. Of note, at one point he just, like, floats up, and he's taller than all of them.
Yeah, in some scenes, like, the only reason he seems small in some scenes is because he's further away. You can tell they've deliberately done it. But when he's just standing next to the main puppet...
He's, like, 3 times the size of them and usually as tall.
Yeah.
And there's, like, that one fat chick who is, like, 5 times the size of any human being. And just, like, towers over everyone.
Whose motivation is to find a teddy bear,
For some reason.
which is never explained.
And, like, her assistant was the villain. And I spent the whole movie assuming she was meant to be, like, a 5-year-old. And yet Fred kept saying she was, like, cute.
Yeah, he called her a cutie.
Yeah.
And then it reveals that she's, like, a teenager, like a sassy teenager, which makes no
Yeah,
sense.
I thought she was a 10-year-old the whole time until, like,
Yeah.
that happened.
There's, like, one creative moment or 2 creative moments. It's just generic Scooby-Doo you've always seen. But it's because the puppetry isn't terrible, it's just not that good. So you can't even... there's not many moments you can laugh at it.
Yeah, it was just kind of a boring movie. The songs were terrible.
Yeah, they
had
fit tonally.
They had nothing to do with the
catchy.
actual movie.
Yeah.
Like, comparing it to, obviously, the best example, it's Terror Time Again. Great song, fit with the moment, like, and the visuals were interesting and, like, continued the plot. They didn't just stop the plot for the song. Like, stuff continued to happen. Here, they just sort of randomly sung, and there was, like, an intermission where it just cut to them, like, flying
There was
about.
a slideshow of them just with colourful backgrounds.
While they looked at the thing and a terrible song played.
That fit nothing with what was going on, because there was nothing going on. It was like there was
It was just
supposed
like
to be an
a
advert
weird
break.
intermission.
It was almost like the movie wasn't long enough to be called a movie.
It was only like 45 minutes.
Yeah, so it felt like they just have to add like another 2 minutes into the
Yeah.
movie.
Like, it had nothing to do with anything. They just sort of floated about. The music wasn't very
Or
interesting.
they already paid some guy to make the song.
I
and then
suspect
they're like-
that's what it was.
And then they were like, well, we've got to fit it in somehow.
Yeah, because, like, they were very generic. Like, they were talking about, oh, yeah, the group's all here. In the one scene where the gang split up.
Oh, yeah. The one scene that they are divided.
Yep.
And they can't bridge the gap to, like, get close together.
Yep.
The main lyric is, the gang is all here.
Yeah.
Which made no sense.
And don't forget, that song also sung about, like, oh, yeah, we're going to dig up everything. And they didn't play it during the scene where they were digging.
Yeah.
They
were literally in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
On a boat.
While half the gang was on a plane following them for some
and they
reason.
talk about digging.
Yeah.
It made no sense. And the songs weren't even catchy. They're not...
Yeah.
You can't even listen to them on their own.
Yeah.
But the worst thing about the entire movie was Velma.
Oh, God, like, for a start, she's, like, half as tall as everyone else for some reason, and her voice just...
Her voice is awful.
Like,
It
she
is
does an
terrible.
okay, like, dinkies.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's just...
Dinkies.
Yeah, it's just... She doesn't fit. Like, there's a scene where they're on the sofa, and she looks like she's there, like... She looks like she's Fred and Velma's daughter for some reason. Fred and Daphne's daughter, even.
I want to see that.
Yeah, she looks like she's Fred. Doesn't she, though? Doesn't she look like she's a kid in the middle of them, like, getting a nighttime story or something? But no. Also, like, whenever she used the computer, it's just like... and, like, paper showed up on the X-ray for some reason?
There was some really weird... I don't mind weird logic, usually,
Yeah.
in Scooby-Doo.
But, like, that was really weird. By far the best bit of the movie, though, was, like, the special extra at the end, where it's just
Which
like...
has nothing to do with
Yeah.
the movie. And
It was
it's
just
only... I'm assuming it's only on the Amazon thing, unless...
Probably, maybe it was, like, a special extra on the DVD as well, but, like, It was just like an episode of Mystery Incorporated for some reason. That was like
or,
pretty good.
It was the
Yeah.
art style of What's New Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And
It
was
also
actually
had a
very
weird
good.
like art style change for like a minute where they were like going
in
on the plane.
intro.
But like, yeah, that was less egregious. But I feel like this movie had a lot of potential with like its art style and stuff. It
Yeah.
just didn't do anything.
It was like a What's New Scooby Doo episode,
Yeah.
but puppets, and there was
Yeah.
nothing else to it, and it just wasn't good in any way.
Yeah.
So I'd give it like a 2 out of 10.
I'd give it maybe a 4 out of 10 at best. And that's just because, like, I liked the idea of using the puppets. They just didn't do anything with
I guess it must
it.
have taken a bit of effort to make all the set design.
Yeah. Like, some of the puppets do look okay when they're sort of far away, but whenever they zoom up, it's really easy to see just, like, the weird velvet they're
Also,
made from.
there is almost no reincorporation. They say something about a character,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of just referenced later, but it's never
Yeah,
integral
like,
to the
what
plot.
was with Fredwood?
Oh, yeah.
For some
All
reason...
it did was remind me about the existence of Jedward.
Yeah, that's not good. And there was also... What else was there? Was that...
There's the pirate beard.
Oh
that
yeah,
was
the
supposed-
pirate where they kept hyping up. Oh yeah, his beard is like so bad it took out entire pirate crews. Doesn't do anything.
No.
There was the guy who worked at the lighthouse, who did literally nothing.
It was just a red herring.
Don't forget they just start following him at one point. They're
By
like,
the way, there's that scene where they look up for 5 milliseconds and he's gone.
yeah,
What's up with that? He's nothing bad.
Yeah.
He's just innocent person.
he's literally just some dude doing his job, and yet like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we've got to avoid him, and then they send
And then they stalk him.
yeah. While Scoob and Shaggy dig up his front lawn for some reason, like find an X that somehow launches them onto the pirate ship. What was up with that? That had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. It's just like, oh yeah, well, so this pirate somehow set up a mechanism to launch you to the exact location of his ship. But his ship was only there because the girl was using it to find his treasure. How did she know where the treasure was?
I assume her brother told her?
Why hadn't he already gone and got it? It was his map.
Yeah.
And
he
he-
cared so much about it.
And he was going out to find it, but then he gave the map to them, but then he needed to get the map back somehow?
So he dressed up as an angry bird.
Yeah, he
Chased
dressed up
them.
as an angry bird to chase them down.
Basically, the movie makes no sense.
Yeah, it was...
Don't watch it for the 0 people watching this.
Yeah, it's just...
And
We wouldn't recommend it. Watch Zombie Island instead, I'd
yeah,
say.
watch Scooby-Doo Zombie Island.
Oh yeah, and our next one is Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders,
Yes.
which from its name alone already sounds like it's going to be much more
Interesting.
interesting than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I'd give this, what, a 4 out of 10?
I give it a 2 or 3. 2.5.
Okay, right, guess we'll sign off then, so bye dooders.